Our next speaker is Mr. Umesh Malhotra, an organization called Hippocampus, making libraries work. Let's see a video on.
Umesh Malhotra is the founder and chief executive of Hippocampus Reading Foundation, who believes that children who read succeed, and has channelized his energies towards making books accessible and fun for them. Umesh is an Ashoka Fellow and chairs the board of Dream a Dream, a not-for-profit organization that develops life skills amongst disadvantaged children. Umesh is also on the board of Denizen Smartware, People Health Services and Tusker Entertainment. Umesh is a graduate from IIT Madras who started his career with Infosys Technologies. After a 9-year stint at Infosys, he started Bangalore Labs, a technology firm backed by ICICI Ventures. Umesh likes going on treks, whitewater rafting and canoeing. He has been anchoring an adventure club for children for the last 6 years. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the super sporting and super successful Umesh Malhotra.
Thank you, Rotary, for having me here. It's actually a pleasure for me to share the dais with a lot of respected dignitaries here. Very interestingly, Ashok and I started our work together in trying to make libraries work in Karnataka. So it's a great pleasure to be here. A lot of the work we are doing, a lot of things we are thinking about are very similar, and you will see a lot of similarity in our work and our talk. My focus in this particular thing is making libraries work and what happens when you make libraries work. So you'll hear a lot of presentations here, and I think you'll have to excuse the fact that both Ashok and me come from an IIT. So therefore we are both analytical and quantitative in nature. So you'll see a lot of graphs, a lot of things which talk about what's going wrong and how we are able to fix it with numbers. So excuse the lack of emotion, but enjoy the numbers we throw at you. I think this is something which everybody has told you. I've been hearing this for the last 2 days. We have a problem in this country. We have a problem today. 97% of children go to schools and the children are not learning anything. That's the bottom line. The kids are not learning anything. Unfortunate part is they go to school and they are unable to read sufficiently to actually comprehend their textbooks. Let me repeat that. They are unable to read sufficiently to comprehend their textbooks. How dare we expect them to finish school and do well? And there are no easy solutions. The first time I actually got involved in this, I realized we spent 3 years trying to figure out how to make these things work. And I realized 2 things. The teachers, they were reasonably indifferent. The teachers actually believed their students came from lower caste and therefore were born to be dull and duffer. Right? And we actually had parents who were poor, were uneducated, and they also lack self-belief. They also lack self-belief that their children can grow up and become something worthwhile. It's like, talking to your drivers, your maids, and if you ask them about their children, they will say, if he studies hard and if you're lucky, he will do well. You will not hear the same from us, but they lack self-belief. So we spent many years trying to say, how do we actually figure this out? And towards that, I call from this chaos, 2-3 years of chaos, emerged a solution called Grow by Reading, which uses 6 colors. It's a very simple activity-based library program that develops reading comprehension and fluency in children at their own pace, needing minimal teacher development. The good part about this program is it was built in the model of somebody building Linux. Again, being in technology, right? We built it like an open source platform. We said, this is what you can do to make it work. And we shared it. So today, the way we envisaged it and the way Akshara Foundation, Ashok uses it, could be very different. But it's built on the open source platform which allows people to work and build their own solutions. Today, this program is being used by an organization called Room to Read, and it's being used across 4,000 libraries in North India. They work in 6 states. They've done exactly the same thing like Akshara Foundation, taken this, utilized this. Swami Vivekananda Youth Foundation, Azim Premji Foundation, many of them have taken this program and used it. Very interestingly, immediately after we launched this program, 50,000 children were using this program in 3 years of launch. And we didn't have deep pockets. We just had a program. We just had something which said libraries can be made to work. So very similar to Ashok's chart. I have just tried to classify the chart by class 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. What you will see out here is when we went to a school, and here's data from private schools. We said, let's not even look at government schools, let's look at some of the private schools which are catering to the poor people. And these are some private schools running for free, catering to poor people with good teachers, English-speaking teachers. Even in class 7, if you look down there, 20% of children in class 7 could read class 2 text. 80% were only able to read class 3 text. And not a single child in class 7 was able to read class 4 text. When we entered and started doing surveys, not a single child in class 7 was able to read class 4 text. And children in class 1, 2 and 3 on average were at the lowest level of reading. They could just read class 1 text. So what was happening in our schools? Children went to schools, they attended classes, teachers taught, but I could be in class 3 and I can't read my textbook confidently. What a recipe for disaster. So then in these schools, we implemented some of our library programs. And what you see out here is the progress of what happened in a given school within a 3-year period, within a 6-year period. In 2007, 100% were reading class 1. By 2013, 80% of those children were able to read class 2 text. So what was happening? Just by giving them a familiarity and access to books, class 1 children were able to move. Why did it take so much time? Because the school did not believe this was possible. The school persisted. The teachers don't believe libraries work. The school persisted. It took them time to make a culture shift and say, yes, libraries work. So when they actually start using it, embracing it beautifully, you start seeing that by class 1, 80% of children were reading class 2 text. If we do the same thing for class 1, class 2 and class 3, if you look at class 2, you will notice that in the first few years, all children moved to class 2 text. By the 3rd year, if you look at the class 2, the second chart there, 2011, by that time, all the children were reading class 2 text. A couple of years later, 90% of the children in that class were able to comprehend class 3 text. Okay, same thing is true for class 3. So suddenly what you start seeing is that children in the school having access to a library, going to a library once or twice a week, are able to show significantly measurable improvements in their reading and comprehension skills, which therefore equip them to start doing well in school. It's actually very logical. If you're going to become a better tennis player, what do? You go out and play tennis, right? You go out, pick the racket and play tennis. You hit the ball day in and day out and you become better and better. It's exactly the same thing a library does. It gives you access to books and it gives you the time and the opportunity for the child to go in and day out and read more and more, and therefore gets better and better at reading. And once he gets better and better at reading, his comprehension improves. Besides the other benefits of saying general knowledge, imagination, creativity, innovation which the world needs, his comprehension improves. So I just want to end with saying, why were we successful? I think because children loved books. Children actually love stories and children came back for more and more. Children were self-motivated to learn and that's the reason we were successful. Teachers saw the impact and therefore started cooperating and working towards improving learning. I think why did it start and why did it expand so quickly? I would primarily say it was inexpensive to start a library And more importantly, it just took 2 days of training to get somebody with a 10th or a 12th degree to start a library. Just 2 days. Training was enough to get them to become a good librarian. Finally, our techniques were so simple that even children could run the library. So in many places, we have had situations where people have come and run their own library. So in ending, this is what I would like to say, that today our program is being used in 9 states. It's available in 5 languages. It's a detailed program. I can talk to people who are interested offline. For my friends from Pakistan, this program is available in Urdu also. Right? So if there's a need for you to implement it in Pakistan, we have this program in Urdu. So we have it in 5 languages, which is English, Hindi, Tamil, Kannada, and Urdu. And finally, it's a quote I have put from Barack Obama. It's right here. And it's very important for us to have this thought as we close the session from mine, which is, the moment we persuade a child, any child, to cross the threshold into a library, we have changed their lives forever and for the better. Thank you.
Thank you, Umesh.